Hey everyone, I'm back. If for my next video, I'm gonna be going over a short story I just made. It's my second one. It's called Chris is Done. I kind of made this based on this insane story, right, on Wattpad, the one I told you about, A Man in the Beast World. And which I just wanted to make things clear that I am not gonna be posting this on any fan fiction websites like .net, at Wattpad or any of them. He made it clear that he doesn't want that. So as far as I'm concerned, this is as close as you guys are gonna get to reading it. Hope you enjoy. No one knew how they all came to this moment, but to Chris, it seemed like it was only yesterday that this turn of events took place, but it was really a few weeks ago, as he witnessed his former friends walking away, drenched with chemical water. Some were shedding tears while the others were emotionless. He knew that it was partially his fault because he didn't tell the girls his deepest secret, but he had valid reasons, especially one where it could have led to them killing him. For those who are confused, let's take a look back at how this happened. Flashback to a few weeks ago. Amber, Lara, Yuki, Mika, Adder, Ashley, and Lupa were just coming back from a mission and they were pissed off. Amber, I can't I can't believe that bastard was one of them. Sorry, pardon the language. Laura, she lied to us. He told us about his unit, but not the whole truth. Yuki, now girls, I'm upset as the next person, but he doesn't deserve this. Mika, it doesn't matter, Yuki. When I get my hands on him, I'm going to rip his dick off and feed it to him. Again, pardon the language. Adder, I'm going to use him as my own shooting target and riddle him with so many holes. Ashley, I knew there was something strange about him the moment he showed up at our base. Lupa, I can't believe he betrayed us. I don't know why he saved me and Laura, but now that doesn't matter anymore since we're telling General Chloe about this. Right, girls? You're damn right. The girls continued to walk until they reached Chloe's office. They opened the door and walked right in, much to the general's confusion. Girls, what's the meaning of this? Ma'am, we want to inform you that the mission is a complete success. We've managed to rescue more humans, and now they're in safe hands. Okay, but it feels like there's more to it than that. You're right, Chloe. During the mission, we received a video message from the enemy, Jason Python. What? What was it? What was it this time? He revealed a lot of things, one in particular about a certain human who was a member of our team. Chris? What does he have to do with this? General, he told us that Chris was a member of Cerberus. What? That's right. For his entire life, Chris has been a member of Cerberus. We didn't want to believe it, but he showed us a picture of Chris's Cerberus tattoo on the back of his neck. I checked the photo and it was real. He played us for fools. Now he's going to pay dearly for this. This changes everything for us. Ladies, I need you to find Chris and bring him for interrogation at once. Yes, ma'am. The Spec Ops left the room to go look for the supposed traitor of their group. Chris, I hope you will have a good excuse for this mess you're in. We cut to Chris in his given room, contemplating on whether or not he should tell the others he was a Cerberus soldier. Even though we got off on the wrong foot at first, but as time passed, they started to treat me as their own, and I've saved two of them, one from dying and the other from spending time in prison. Some of them even told me more about themselves, like Laura's deceased brother, Adder's fear of relationship, and and Lupa's mental disorder. Maybe it's time I do the same and tell them the truth. As Chris decides to tell him the truth, he hears several loud knocks at his door. Startled, he walks up to his door and opens it. Hello? Who is it? As Chris was asking who it was, he was disrupted by a claw grabbing his throat and lifting him in the air. Startled, he got a good look and saw Mika holding him in midair, giving him a death glare while the others were beside her, giving him the same glare. Mika, what are you doing? Shut it! I knew you were hiding something from us, and we have proof. What are you talking about? No more lying, Chris. We just found out that you were a Cerberus soldier for years before you came into our lives. Chris was surprised and horrified that Alpha Squad found out about his darkest secret, but confused as to how they found out. But how did you find out about that? Yuki said, we found out from a video message left behind by Python. It showed him telling us that you've been a member of Cerberus all along. He even showed us a picture of the tattoo on the back of your neck. Chris, how could you lie to us like this? I can explain every. No! You can't explain this, and we don't want to hear it. Now we're gonna have to. Now we're gonna take you to interrogation where you'll tell us everything. What? No, you can't. Yes, we can, no fur bastard. You're coming with us right now. As Amber finished that exclamation, she, Mika, and the others walked to the interrogation room with Chris in tow, while he tries to tell them not to. After they took Chris into the interrogation room where General Clovey was waiting, they handcuffed him and immediately started asking him questions about Cerberus. Chris denied any knowledge because he really didn't know. No, they started to beat the living hell out of him because they think he's lying, and the torture will get worse if he keeps lying. Chris continued to tell them the truth about having no knowledge about the group, and the beating got worse to the point where they started stabbing him in non fatal areas, while ignoring the ear piercing cries of pain coming from him. Hours after being interrogated, Chris remained handcuffed in his chair, beaten within an inch of his life, barely clinging on to life while Alpha Squad and the general surrounded him. Now I'll ask you again. Hold on one sec. Sorry about that. Tell us what you know about Cerberus immediately. I don't know. I swear, I don't know what Cerberus is doing. Stop lying! Breathing fire heavily as he punches Chris in the face hard. I don't know, I swear. Answer the question. And slamming Chris's head on the table. Chris, now fed up, gives in. Fine, I'll tell you the truth, at least as far as I know. My father brought me to their group after surviving a mission when I was a baby. When I turned 5 years old, I joined their group and fought to survive for 13 years. Oh, and you want to know something? I know Mika was violated by them from Laura, and I noticed something about her story, and that the Cerberus soldiers who tortured her had red tattoos on them, while I have a white tattoo. So unless she was colorblind, there is no way Cerberus could do such a thing. Oh, speaking of torture, I was molested by Roxy Drago, back in Ironjaw, because I struck a deal to help find her mother's bracelet. Afterwards, she tried to steal my innocence from me, and she would have done so if one of her teammates hadn't arrived. After the prison riots, I saw her bound to a table by an anthro butcher, surrounded by jars containing human body parts. After killing him, I turned to Roxy, and I made the most difficult decision by releasing her from her restraints and letting her go. That's right. She beat me up, molested, and almost stole my innocence. And instead of returning the favor, I let her go because that's what humans are capable of. Remorse. You were so caught up with your hatred for humans that you didn't realize what this generation had to suffer through. By the way, in case you forgot, if it weren't for me, Laura would be dead and Lupa would be locked in prison for almost killing me. Plus, I haven't forgotten how you treated me when I first showed up here. And that was when you girls didn't think I was a Cerberus soldier. If I had told you back then, you would have killed me instantly. That's all I really that's all I really know, I swear. The girls remained silent after Chris told them everything he remembers. They started to think he wasn't lying, but their hatred and betrayal got the better of them. Yeah, right. You're just saying that so we can trust you again. Well, it's not gonna work, Nofer. That's right. You don't belong here, and you never did. Hey, girls, why don't we tell the whole base Chris is a Cerberus soldier? Yuki and Lupa silently nod. Lara responds, "This will teach this bastard a lesson he'll never forget. I can't believe I had feelings for him. I'll never make that mistake again. Same for me. I can't believe I told him why I was afraid to get into another relationship. Now, I have another reason. I'm glad you two saw things my way and realized he wasn't good for you. I'm glad I kissed her in front of you, Nofer. I've lost what little respect I had for you, you bastard." As one by one Alpha Squad leaves the interrogation room, leaving Chris and the General in the room by themselves. What? Are you going to torture me as well? No. You've been through enough torture for one day, General Chloe says. The General walks up to Chris and unlocks his handcuffs, much to his confusion. Why? I don't know why, but something tells me you're telling the truth. Though I'm disappointed you didn't tell us this in the first place. But nothing. We still need to find Dr. Reed so she can create an antidote to cure you and any humans that were turned into anthros. However, you're not off the hook yet, so for your punishment, you are under house arrest and you will not attend any missions until I say otherwise. Now head back to your room and do whatever you want. And don't worry about your injuries. Let's not forget about that healing factor you got from that gas. But, ma'am, now! Depressed, Chris got up from his chair and left the interrogation room to go back to his room while General Chloe watched emotionlessly, giving off a sigh. Stay strong, Chris. There's going to be a shitstorm in the near future for you. Sorry for the language. Finally, Chris got back to his room and laid face down on the bed. It was silent until he started sobbing into the pillow. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I lied to you guys. I wish I was never born. Unfortunately, General Chloe was right about what she said because Alpha Squad told the whole base about Chris's secret of being a Cerberus agent. And pissed off was an understatement. After Chris decided to leave his room, he was spat on, harassed, and assaulted by any anthro he came across. He tried to explain himself, but no one would listen to him. Alex and Sasha, two anthros he got along with, refused to acknowledge him, with Sasha even threatening to kill him if he got close to them. As time passed, he tried to get them to forgive him, but slowly he realized that he is all alone and that no one cares for him, not even the general. Depression turned to sadness, and sadness turned to rage, and finally, he snapped. He gave up on trying to scrap together what little trust they once had, and decided to fight back. He stopped holding back and viciously attacks any soldier that tries to harm him. He even tries to fight back against his former love interests and friends if given the chance. One day, everything changed for their lives. During the mission, Alpha Squad was raiding another prison to save more humans from the FIA. After they finished their mission, they got another video message from General Python. taunting them by saying his plan worked. They were confused at first, but then they became horrified. More specifically, Laura, Adder, Yuki, and Lupa, when Python told them that the Cerberus that violated Mika and her girlfriend were nothing but pretenders, and that the real Cerberus wanted to make peace with the Anthros by joining the UF. But he put a stop to that. After that, the girls realized they made a terrible mistake and made it back to base as quickly as possible to tell General Chloe about this. Once she found out, she quickly called for an assembly and told her soldiers that Chris was telling the truth. They were distraught that they tortured someone for something he had no control over whatsoever. Unfortunately, it's too late. The damage has been done, and now Chris doesn't trust them anymore. We cut to his room where we see him lying on his bed. As he thinks about his former friends, he hears a knock on his door. Confused, he walks up to it and opens it. Whoever you are, whoever you are, I'm not in the mood. We see Alpha Squad surrounding his door with remorse on their faces, some more than others. Hey, Chris, what goes on? Just lying on my bed. What do you guys want? Look, we found out you were telling the truth. Python hired a group of humans to pose as Cerberus because the real group wanted to make peace after so many years. Just another reason for me to kill him. However, what does that have to do with you guys speaking with me? Amber reluctantly says, We're, we're sorry. We should have trusted you from the beginning, and I hope you can forgive us. No. What? We said we're sorry, all right? So stop being mad at us. I'm not mad at you. I'm done. What is that supposed to mean? You. I'm done with you for good. You don't show me any trust, don't show me respect, and you don't even seem to care about me at all. I don't want anything to do with you Anthros anymore. Is this a joke? What, are you gonna move out and quit this war? No. I've got nowhere else to go, so obviously this base is my best option. I still need to kill Python, find Dr. Reed so she can cure me and turn the humans back to normal. Once that happens, I can migrate to civilization and live my life. And until that day happens, I guess we'll just be strangers to each other. 'Cause that's all you'll ever be, girls. Just anthro trash I have to deal with. As far as I'm concerned, you're nothing to me. Amber, Mika, and Ashley just looked stunned at those words, as did Laura, Yuki, Adder, and Lupa, who were shocked to hear Chris actually disown them. I'm done with you. Shuts his door in their faces to emphasize his point. Wow, we really did it this time. Come on, do you know how many times Chris has been furious with us? He'll pout for a few days and then he'll get over it. I don't know. He sounded pretty serious to me. Whatever. If he wants to be a baby, so be it. But by next week, he'll get over it and forget this all happened. Lara, Adder, Yuki, and Lupa looked at each other, worried that they may be too late, while Ashley, Amber, and Mika didn't care at all. 1 week later, we see Chris sitting and eating in the cafeteria, trying to have some time to himself while ignoring the sad looks from the Anthros. Great. It was bad enough I got those looks from my former friends, but now I have to deal with the other Anthros as well? They're just wasting their time. Chris continued to eat by himself until he was done, ignoring everyone until Adder and Yuki sat down at his table. Hey, Chris, I was thinking we head back to our room and go see Good Luck Chuck or Warm Bodies. Yeah, I didn't know what movies the Anthros watched in the story I told you about, so I just went along with it. by adding our movies to it. Anyway, I'm not exactly a movie expert since I've been in this war my whole life, but those sound like bad romance movies. Yeah, that's the point. See, the first Tuesday of every month, me, Yuki, and Ashley watch bad romance movies and criticize them. We call it Bad Romance Tuesday. So, do you want to watch them with us? Actually, I was thinking about heading down to the gym to get some training in. Which reminds me, I need to head to the shooting range later. Chris started to leave the table. Once he was about to walk out, Yugi grabbed onto his wrist. Hey, come on, Chris. We're really sorry about what we did, so stop being mad at us. I already told you a week ago, Yuki. I'm not mad at you. I'm done with you, Adder, and the others. Chris, I mean it. Chris finally left the cafeteria, leaving a betrayed Adder and Yuki behind. They both thought, but we wanted to tell our feelings for you. The next day, we see Lara and Amber in the gym, training their asses off to try to take their minds off of Chris. Lara more than Amber, but they keep getting frustrated. You've been at that heavy bag for an hour now. So? You're easily frustrated over Chris. No! Who cares if he doesn't want to be around us anymore? Means I have more time to myself and you. Besides, he's the one who probably misses us, especially you. He's probably sad right now. As soon as Amber said that, Chris was seen walking into the gym wearing workout gear, smiling proudly. All right, let's see which Anthro is stupid enough to get in the ring with me. I can't wait for this. Chris got into the ring where Damien, the Anthro who was flirting with Laura and Amber that one time, was waiting. Laura will never love you, and I can't wait to beat it into you. Listen, Laura betrayed me, along with the others. As far as I'm concerned, she and her family can die in a ditch, and I still wouldn't care. As they are about to fight, Amber and Laura were speechless by what Chris just said. Chris, you don't really mean that, do you? He better be, otherwise I'll kick his ass. Maybe you're right. I'm sure Chris will get over it at some point. Whatever. Just as they finished talking, they heard a large thump in the ring. They turned around and were shocked to see Damien lying down on the mat, unconscious, while Chris was standing above him without a single scratch. After the one sided beatdown in the ring, Chris got out and walked back to his room, laughing and bragging about it. Oh man, that Damien guy didn't stand a chance. Ever since I stopped holding back, no one has been able to best me in the ring. And I plan to keep up the effort. As he kept walking, Amber and Laura were nearby spying, shocked that Chris actually won that sparring match effortlessly and that he seemed to be doing okay without them and the others. Is Chris really done with us? No, no! Chris needs us. Without us, Chris would be nothing. Nothing! Amber threw a punch into the wall in anger and then walked back to her room, while Laura stood behind and watched Chris walk away with a disheartened expression on her face. Chris. We then cut to the shooting range where Chris was shooting the targets. He got a bullseye on each target. Wow, I don't remember my shooting being this great. I'm on a roll. Just then, a Fox Anthro soldier was passing by when her pocket watch dropped. Chris, seeing this, picked it up and ran to her. Hey, girl, I believe you dropped this watch. Chris handed the watch to the Fox Anthro. Sorry, I've been busy recently. Thank you so much. It's no problem. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got targets to shoot at. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to be so apathic, but I don't trust the Anthros. Anyway, I hope nothing keeps me from my perfect shooting streak. Just then, the shooting range door swung open with a loud bang. Mika and Lupa came in all sweaty. Chris, you got some explaining to do, mister. Speak of the devil. Mika and Lupa stomp up to their former teammate, who wasn't happy to see two of his most disliked people now barging in like it was a wrestling match. Everyone looked disgusted by the smell they were emitting. Why are the both of you all sweaty? We're all sweaty because on our way back from a successful mission, we ran out of gas and had to push the truck back here because somebody forgot to fill it up. It's not my responsibility to fill the truck with gas. Your problem, not mine. But you always fill up the truck. Used to. Now I put in just enough gas for when I have to go on missions by myself. Remember, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not your teammate anymore. Well, good. Good for you. We don't need your gas. Chris looked weirded out from that. And just so you know, we're going to enjoy taking our frustrations out on these targets, and we don't need you to help us with it at all. We don't need you for anything. I'm going to fire at these targets as well, you know. What? You heard me. Oh, and you better tone it down unless you want to get kicked out of here for a while. You know what? No, I don't want you here at this shooting range. I want you out of here now. As Mika looked like she was going to bite Chris's head off while Lupa looked distressed, a colonel walked up to them. Hey, what's going on? Who's causing this ruckus? Hey, sir. These two kept bothering me while I was practicing, and I can't focus well, so can you remove them from this place? Understood. All right, girls, it's time to leave, now. The colonel started to escort Mika and Lupa out of the shooting range despite their protests to let them stay. Hey, let us go, you big oaf. I'll put you in a camel clutch that will make you cry. Chris, help us out. Are these two friends of yours? Sir, I don't even know who those two are. Chris, quit being mad at us and quit being mad and actually help us. Seriously, I don't know you two. I feel sorry for anyone that does. Chris, you're gonna regret this, Chris. You need us. You need us. The colonel throws Mika and Lupa out of the shooting range while Chris watches this unfazed. Whatever. I'm not afraid of Mika and her threats anymore. Besides, she should be happy that I don't consider myself a part of her team anymore. Now, where was I? Oh, yes, my perfect shooting streak. Chris walked over to the ranges and continued to shoot at his targets with perfect accuracy. The next day, we opened up to Chris and a bunch of anthos learning about chemical warfare from General Chloe. Normally, chemical warfare is illegal, but ever since the UF found out that the FIA created a gas that turns humans into anthros, they've been doing everything they can to turn the humans back to normal. None more so than none so more than Chris, since because none more so than Chris because he needs to be cured of his cancer that he received from the gas. All right, everyone, our experiments will start right. Alpha Squad then rushed in. We're here. We're here. Yes, with 5 seconds to spare. We're sorry, ma'am. It's just that Chris normally wakes us up every morning. We overslept and we had to run with only a couple minutes left on the clock. I used to wake you up. Not anymore. Alpha Squad, you girls can talk about this at another time, but that can wait. Please go sit at your table. Yes, ma'am. Alpha Squad walked over to Chris's science table, only to see Alex and Sasha sitting next to their former friend. Move your asses, now! Uh, Alex and Sasha are my new lab partners. But Chris, we're your lab partners. We've been your lab partners since after you inhaled the gas that turns humans into anthros. Well, that was before you girls showed me. That was before you girls. That was before you showed me you girls were pieces of anthro shit. The girls flinched at how harshly and coldly he said it. It felt like a knife stabbed them in the heart, especially Laura, Yuki, Adder, and Lupa. Then who are we supposed to work with now? I guess you girls will have to work with each other as a group without Chris then. Aw, no! Alpha Squad sat down as they looked agitated. Class got started as they tried to mix some chemicals, though they were struggling. Not helping was Amber trying to grunt angrily at the task at hand. Let's see, what happens if I mix this green fuzzy thing with the blue? Amber mixed. Hold on. Amber mixed both of the chemicals together, resulting in it fizzing in an unnatural way. The chemicals started to sizzle and then splattered everyone, burning parts of their bodies. Oh man, this burns so much. Chemical emergency! Sash uh, hurriedly pressed the emergency chemical button as a red siren was heard blaring. The girls were grabbed and put into the shower area. Let's get them in the chemical shower now. The what? Chris actually did look concerned as Alpha Squad was trapped in the shower area while they frantically banged on the glass door. Hey, let us out of here now! The shower was turned on and sprayed water all over the girls while they screamed for dear life. All the classes, all the anthros looked concerned for her. Even Chris was starting to worry for his former friends and teammates. Girls, are you all right? Alpha Squad just continued to scream in pain, feeling the water hit them in the eyes and getting their hair and clothes all drenched. Alpha Squad, you may come out now. Chloe stopped the shower as she opened the door to let the girls out. Girls, you may sit down now. They groaned, holding their eyes in pain. Unable to take any more of this, they started to walk to the door. Girls, sit down now. No! Girls! They ignored her and made it to the door. They turned to Chris as they started to get teary-eyed. Chris, what? Look, we're sorry. Girls, I don't. Let me finish, okay? Hey, we admit it. We're garbage. We're despicable. I see why you hate us with all your heart and soul. What do you mean? Everything. We've been pieces of shit to you. We need we need you way more. We need you way more than you need us, okay? Look, we're sorry for treating you like trash when you first got here. We're sorry that we took advantage of your trust. We're sorry we didn't give you a chance to explain yourself why you were part of Cerberus. We're sorry we tortured you during interrogation. We're sorry for spilling your secret to the UF and made you a social pariah. And we're sorry we anthros are considered the worst species in all of history. Chris finally got to see and feel the girl's pain, and he was shocked beyond belief. We're so sorry, Chris. Adder, Lara, Lupa, and Yuki ran out of the room, sobbing, while Amber, Ashley, and Mika followed silently, while the former sobs echoed throughout the hallway. All the anthros were shocked, including General Chloe, but the most shocked and remorseful was Chris, who had his mouth open. Chris, would you like to go talk to them? No, I think they need their space right now. Okay, if you say so. Everyone, let's get back to our experiments. Everyone got back to work as Chris just looked down in regret. We cut to where it's late at night. He's in his room where we see him lying on his bed. contemplating the words the girl said to him. He thought about them and realized they weren't lying. After giving it much thought, he decided to forgive them. All right, I've decided to forgive them, so I'll go talk to them right now, one by one. We cut to Ashley sitting at her desk emotionlessly. She realized she took Chris for granted, and now he doesn't care for her anymore, which may be a fate worse than death itself. After finding out what the humans have been through at the hands of the FIA. As she thought about this more, she heard a knock at her door. Confused, she walked to it. Who is it? Chris? Hey, Ashley. Listen, I've given this much thought and I've decided to forgive you. I should have told you guys my secret from the start, but I was scared. Anyway, I know we may not be friends, but we can be two people who respect each other for their work. So what do you say? Fresh start? Fresh start. Great, thank you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go forgive the others. Bye. Bye. Chris walks off to go forgive the others, while Ashley watches them from her room. You know, you may not be so bad after all. We cut to Amber's room where she's sitting on her bed, depressed. Normally, she doesn't care what Chris does, but now it does, especially since it affected Lara. I never should have messed with Chris's emotions. He was already messed up from the war, but now it's personal. And to make things worse, it's affecting Lara badly. Wish there was a way to change this. As she said this, she heard a knock at her door. Confused, she went to her door and opened it, finding Chris on the other side. Chris? What are you doing here? I came here because I decided to forgive you, even though you treated me like garbage. Why? Because that's what we humans are capable of. Remorse, and forgiveness. You were so caught up in your hatred, you didn't even notice it. But it's not too late to show it now and for the perceivable future. Friends? Friends. Scoops him up and hugs him. Whoa! Amber continued to hug him for a little bit until she let go, smiling down at him. Thank you so much. No problem. 2 down, 5 to go. I better go forgive the others. Oh, before I go, here's a little something. What? Chris looked back and forth in the hallway before turning to Amber, who was confused. Suddenly, he dragged Amber's head to his height and hugged her, surprising the dragon. The dragon. All of a sudden, he kissed Amber on the cheek, making her blush like crazy. He let her go and she stared at him surprised. If you tell anyone about this, I will knee you between your legs. Understand? Fair enough, since you kept my insecurities about my bisexuality a secret. Good. Well, I've got to go now. Bye. Bye. Chris walked off to the others while Amber watched, while her face was as red as a strawberry. I didn't think he would do something like that. Well, Laura, it looks like your Prince Charming is coming for you. Soon enough. We cut to Mika lying on her bed thinking bad thoughts. She forgot Chris was underage, meaning he never got to say on what he wanted to do with his life, but her hatred for humans got the better of her. And now she feels like she failed her race, her friends, her job as leader. More importantly, she has failed her late girlfriend, Isabella. Now she has failed Chris and she has to live with that guilt for the rest of her life. I can't believe this is happening. I failed everyone. My family, my friends, my team, my general, my girlfriend, and now I failed you, Chris. Never thought I would say this about a Nopher concerning what they did to me. This time, it's different. Now it's over, and I just have to deal with it, especially since I signed those do not resuscitate papers. As she talks more about her downfall, she is interrupted by a knock at the door. Confused, she goes to it and opens it, finding Chris standing in the hallways. Chris? What are you doing here? I came to talk. Listen, I should have told you about my status as a Cerberus soldier from the beginning, but you were all bent on killing me back then, especially since Lara told me how you were tortured beyond belief by those false Cerberus soldiers for 36 days straight. She told you that? Yeah, she did. When I found out, I was outraged that Cerberus lied to me my whole life. I thought they used me as a sacrificial pawn for their own twisted desires. It wasn't until you told me that there was this false group running around, tainting our name and everything it stood for. I was betrayed by you, girls, because even though I told the truth, you didn't believe me. You went as far as telling the whole base my secret. But now, I forgive you, and I'm looking to start over with all of you. So what do you say? Friends? Friends. Thank you. Oh, one more thing. Pulls Mika into a hug. You've been suffering for most of your life. So have I. We both deserve this. Mika was surprised at this at first, but then she reciprocated the hug, smiling as she sees light in the dark abyss she was trapped in for what seems like forever for the first time. Thank you. No problem. 3 down, 4 to go. Now I need to go forgive the others. Goodbye. Goodbye. As Chris was about to leave, he heard Mika calling for him. Confused, he turns to face her. He's surprised to see a genuine smile on her face for the first time since he first showed up at the UF base, holding a thumbs up to him. I look forward to being friends and teammates with you in the near future. Also, good luck with Adder, Lara, Lupa, and Yuki. They really need comfort right now. Thanks. I'll see to it that they receive it. Chris walks off to the others to forgive them. Meanwhile, Mika watches him walk off for a while until she walks back to her room with a smile on her face. Maybe humans aren't so bad after all. Isabella, I hope you're watching me, approving of my decision. We cut to Lupa's room where the wolf shark hybrid was lying face down in her pillow, sobbing like a baby, knowing that she lost Chris's trust forever. I can't believe myself. First, I said I never wanted to be friends with a human right in front of him. Then I slit his throat because he mentioned my dead sister. And now I turned his back on him when he needed us the most. He saved me from serving time in prison, and I betrayed him. Now I have to suffer the consequences for the rest of my life. As she continued to sob, she heard a knock on her door. Confused, she went to it, sniffling, and opened it to see Chris on the other side. Chris, what are you doing here? I came to talk. Sit. Chris, I thought you were done with us and that you didn't care for us anymore. This is my fault. I should have told you girls that I was a Cerberus soldier from the beginning, but I was afraid. Afraid? Remember how you girls treated me when I first showed up here? That was when you didn't think I was a Cerberus soldier. If I had told you then, we would have finished you off instantly. Yeah, but now I'm willing to start over with all of you and let bygones be bygones. So, friends, Chris, thank you. Surprised, but then starts hugging back. No problem.
Chris and Lupa hugged for a while until Lupa let go of him, smiling down at him. There you go, as he sees her smile. Anyway, I need to go and forgive Adder, Lara, and Yuki. Oh, before I go, here's a little something. What do you mean? Lupa was cut off with a kiss to the cheek by Chris. Blushing like crazy, she looks down at him with a surprised look on her face. There, you really needed it. Now I need to go see the others. Goodbye. Bye. Chris walks out of her room and into the hallway to forgive the remaining three members of Alpha Squad, while Lupa watches him from afar. Thank you so much. Sister, I hope you're watching me from above and are proud of me because I feel like me and Chris may become more than just friends in the near future. We cut to Adder's room where the panther was lying face down on her bed, sobbing quietly, knowing that she lost Chris's trust and feelings for her forever. I'm so sorry, Chris. I know we didn't get along at first, but as time passed, we started to gain one another's trust. I told you why I was afraid of relationships, and you told me you were molested at Ironjaw. Then slowly, I started to have these feelings for you. But your Cerberus secret came out. I should have trusted you, but I let my emotions get the better of me. And now I've lost you forever. Just as she said that, she heard a knock on her door. Confused, she went to the door, sniffling, and opened it to see Chris on the other side. Chris? Why are you here? I wanted to talk about what you and the others said earlier. Well, sure. Listen, we all make mistakes. That's what makes us who we are. I made the mistake of not telling you girls my secret, and you girls made the mistake of not believing me. But nothing. It's fine. It's okay to make mistakes. We learn from them so we can become better people. In this case, prove that humans and anthros can trust and care for each other. So what do you say? Chris. Oh, Chris. Shh. Shh. It's okay. It's okay. Chris and Adder hugged for a little bit longer until they let go, smiling at each other. 5 down, 2 to go. Oh, before I go see Lara and Yuki, I have a surprise for you. Well, what would that be? Cut off by Chris as he delivered a peck on her lips, blushing. How was that? Oh, hold on. Why? Well, I have feelings for you, but I was afraid. Now, not anymore. However, there's one thing. I also have feelings for Yuki and Lara, and I was wondering if we could all be together. Remember when we stormed Python's mansion some time ago and discovered he had multiple wives? I was wondering if the four of us could do that. If that's okay with you. Adder looked surprised as he said all that, but he brought up a point. After thinking about it for a while, she decided, Okay, if it means getting along with Lara, then I'll do it. Thank you. Speaking of whom, I have to go and forgive her and Yuki right now. Goodbye, Adder. Goodbye. Chris walks out of her room and into the hallway to forgive the remaining two members of Alpha Squad, while Adder watches him blushing. Thank you so much. I can't wait to be in a relationship with you, Lara, and Yuki. Eee! I'll never forget this, Chris. We cut to Yuki's room where the wolf was sitting on her bed with her knees tucked into her chest, sobbing quietly, knowing that Chris will never forgive her. I, I'm so sorry, Chris. I was the first of Alpha Squad to trust you. I told you about Python and his gas, gave you the idea to escape Ironjaw, and helped you whenever there was trouble. I didn't tell you that I was undercover at that time, and you forgave me. However, your secret came out, I betrayed you. I should have helped you there like I did back then, and I didn't. Now I have to deal with the consequences, especially since I can't admit my feelings for you. Just as she finished saying that, she heard a knock at her door. Confused, Yuki went to the door, wiping her tears to open it to see Chris on the other side. Chris? Well, why are you here? I wanted to talk to you about Lara, and the others. Well, sure. Hear me out. We all make mistakes. That's what makes us who we are. I made the mistake of not telling you girls my secret and calling you a liar when you didn't tell me you were undercover. And you girls made the mistake of not believing me. Hell, I haven't forgotten that me and Mika helped you out with the group that attacked you, with Mika beating the hell out of one of them. And I feel like I took that for granted. But you didn't. But nothing. Listen to me. It's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. We learn from them so we can become better people. In this case, to prove that humans and anthros can love each other, to live out our days in peace and harmony. So what do you say? Chris. Oh, Chris. It's okay. It's okay. Let it all out. Chris and Yuki hugged for a little bit until they let go, smiling at each other. 6 down and 1 to go. Oh, before I go see Lara, I have a surprise for you, Yuki. First, close your eyes. Okay? What did you have for cut off by Chris as he cupped her face and kissed her? Yuki opened her eyes wide and blushed profusely as she saw Chris kissing her with surprise. After a little bit, she reclosed her eyes and reciprocated the kiss for a while until Chris leaned back, breaking it off. How was that? Wow, that was my first kiss. But why? But why did you? Well, I was fine with us being friends, but after a while I started to feel affectionate for you, but I was afraid. Now I'm not anymore. However, there's one thing. I also have feelings for Adder and Lara, and I was hoping if we could all be together. Remember we stormed Python's remember me and the girls stormed Python's mansion some time ago when I first showed up here and we discovered he had multiple wives? I was wondering if the four of us could do that. If that's okay with you. If you don't want to, then I respect your decision. Yuki looked surprised as he said all that, but he made a point. After thinking about it for a while, she decided, okay, we'll agree to share with you. Thank you. You won't regret it. With all that done, it's time for me to move on to our final member, Lara. Wish me luck. Goodbye. Goodbye. Chris walked out of Yuki's room and into the hallway to forgive Lara, the last member of Alpha Squad, while Yuki watches him blushing with a smile on her face. Thank you, Chris. I can't wait to be in a relationship with you, Adder, and Lara. Eee! Squealing happily like a child as she falls asleep. I'll never forget this, Chris. I love you. Finally, we cut to Lara's room where the wolf was lying underneath her blanket, crying, knowing that Chris will never forgive and love her. I'm so sorry, Chris. When we first met you, I couldn't stand the sight of you. To me, you were just like any other human I came across. Then Came the mission to Python's mansion. You could have let me die from those grenades, but instead you saved me, an Anthro. Ever since then, I became curious with you. Then that curiosity turned to friendship, and friendship turned to affection. I started to really like you and maybe be in a relationship with you. But Amber confessed to me, and I was confused for a while. And I decided that maybe we could share you like a harem or something. Unfortunately, it was revealed that you were a Cerberus soldier, the same group that took my older brother away from me. I felt betrayed, so I retaliated by crushing your feelings right in front of you and moved on from you. Then one day, we found out the truth about this false Cerberus group running around with red tattoos. I was devastated that I tortured an innocent being for something out of their control, especially since he had nothing to do, didn't have anything to do with my brother's death. I tried to patch things up and maybe confess my feelings for you, but it was too late. You disowned us, and rightfully so. I should have helped you there like what you did for me back then, and I didn't. Now I have to deal with the consequences, especially since I've lost you forever. Just as she said that, she heard a knock on her door. Confused, Laura moved her sheets and went to the door, wiping her tears to see and opened it to see Chris on the other side. Chris? Why are you here? Listen, I already talked to the others and I forgave them. I saved you for last. Well, shall we talk about it? Sure. Hear me out. For my entire life, I despised anthros. I trained to believe they were the monsters who took everything from us. When I first joined the UF, we couldn't stand one another, but as time passed, I started to see you as friends, and I realized that after you told me about Mika's torture, we were two sides of the same coin. And each of us, each of our sides have demons disguised as living beings. I was scared to tell you that I was a Cerberus soldier because you treated me like shit when I first got here. And then you told me a Cerberus group killed your brother. However, I should have trusted you like you trusted me. I took advantage of your trust and felt like garbage because of it. But you didn't. Yes, I did. I felt betrayed by you girls telling the whole base my secret. It really devastated me, and I felt that by disowning you, I could never suffer from anthros again. But after hearing your words, I realized it was Python's fault for instigating all of this. We shouldn't be turning against each other, but instead fighting the same enemy together. In this case, defeating Python and the FIA to prove that once and for all, humans and anthros can trust and care for each other. So what do you say? All is forgiven? Oh, Chris, it's okay. It's okay. Let it all out. Chris and Laura hugged for a while, longer than he did for Adder and Yuki. But then eventually they let go, smiling at each other. There. Now my task is complete. I can head back to my room. Oh, before I go, Laura, I have a surprise for you. First, close your eyes. Okay? What surprise did you cut off but Chris as he cupped her face and kissed her? Laura opened her eyes wide and blushed as she saw Chris kissing her with surprise on her face. After a little bit, she reclosed her eyes and reciprocated. After what felt like an eternity, they broke off and looked at each other, blushing. How'd you like that? Um, amazing. But why? Well, I was fine with us being friends, but hence after Amber kissed you, but then I couldn't help but feel affection for you. But I was afraid of being judged. Now, not anymore. Let's not forget the human and anthro couple that helped me and Adder break those humans out of prison. However, there's one thing. Oh, speaking of which, there's one thing. I also have feelings for Adder and Yuki, and I was wondering if we could all be together. Remember when we stormed Python's mansion some time ago and discovered he had multiple wives? If I was wondering if the four of us could do that. If that's okay with you. If you don't want to, then I respect your decision. If you do accept, would it be possible to add Amber if she gets rid of her hate boner for me and maybe Lupa? Laura looked surprised as he said all of that, but he brought up two major points. After thinking about it for what seemed like forever, she decided, okay, me, Yuki, and Adder will try to date you at once, and I'll see if I can get Amber and Lupa to agree. However, if they say no, then their loss will be our gain. Thank you, you won't regret it. With all that done, it's time for me to head to bed. Good night, Laura. Hope you have a good night's sleep. Same to you, Chris. Goodbye. Chris walks out of Laura's room and heads back to his room to get some rest, while Laura watches him, blushing with a smile on her face. Chris, this changes everything for humans and anthros. I can't wait to get started with this harem. Good night, Chris. I love you. Chris walks back to his room with a smile on his face, knowing that things will be looking up nice with his friends and potential girlfriends. Things have finally started to look up for me for once. Girls, I promise that I'll never fail you again, and that for as long as I live. Jason Python, you will pay for your crimes dearly. I'll see to it that your days of terrorizing people are over, and that every human you infected with your gas turns back to normal. And that is a promise. As he plans to take down the general, Chris walks back to his room as the scene starts to darken, till eventually it's completely black. The end. Wow, that was something else. I haven't forgot. Yeah, he mentioned this on a conversation on Wattpad a few months ago. He tried to have people write short stories and spin offs based on A Man and the Beast world. It didn't go so well, and I kind of have to agree. Some of them were kind of okay, but the rest, eesh. Of course, I'm not exactly writers, so what am I to judge? Like I said at the beginning, I'm not going to be posting this on any fan fiction website. Not going to publish it. Sorry, but that's how it is. As far as I'm concerned, this is as close as you guys are going to get to reading this online. Anyway, hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Have a nice day.